Take these 12 condoms. Sleep with 12 men. Your wealth will begin with their fall. But be warned, these are no ordinary condoms. Each one carries a curse and a reward. In the heart of the dusty town of Oritococo, tucked between rustling cassava fields and rusted zinc-roofed houses, lived a girl named Iridis. She was unlike the village maidens known for their brown skin, and they weigh the look. Iridis was a beautiful girl, but what confused people the most was her figure. She had the type of curvy, exaggerated body that resembled women who had done BBL and Legos. Massive hips, thick thighs, tiny waist, yet was poor and smells like smoke all the time. People often joked, "Nah, BBL way Miss Road enter bush." But what made villagers talk even more was her body, strangely sculpted, like a clay figure made in haste. She had hips that swung as though her bones had forgotten how to align with her spine, and a backside that made passers-by pause, not in admiration, but confusion. Some swore she looked like someone who had done BBL in the city and forgot to finish the healing process. The men in the village market would chuckle under their breath. Women whispered and warned their daughters, "Don't let your spirit be as crooked as Iridis' back." She sold roasted corn by the roadside, her hands always stained with charcoal, and her clothes reeking of smoke. Each day, she sat beneath a shriveled mango tree, fanning the flames of her small grill and watching life pass her by. Every day under the hot sun, with her charcoal-blackened fingers, she flipped corn and tried to smile at customers who barely looked her in the eye. Some would buy and walk away quickly. Others would laugh and say, "This one no-go Mario." The insults, the mockery, they never stopped. But what hurt more than words was hunger. She could barely feed herself, let alone save. Since the tragic day her parents and 2 younger siblings were wiped away in a motor accident on their way to visit a sick uncle in Ilorin, Iridis' life had collapsed like soaked Gary. She had no one, nothing, just the firewood she carried every morning and the tray of corn that earned her barely enough to eat. Every night she lay on her raffia mat and cried quietly, staring at the zinc roof, wondering if the God she heard about in church had simply forgotten her. But one day, she sat under the mango tree behind her thatched room and muttered to herself, "This life no balance. I cannot continue like this." She had seen too much suffering, too many people living soft life on Instagram, buying wigs, flying to Dubai, popping champagne. She too wanted to be a baddie, even just once. So she made up her mind. She needed power, wealth, and if God no gree answer her, she would try another route. That same week, she took a long walk through the bush path to meet Baba Agui, the feared Babalawo who lived near the edge of the forest. People said he could change a person's destiny for good or for ruin. When Iridis reached his compound, dogs barked and the smell of herbs and blood filled the air. Baba Agui sat cross-legged, his face covered in white chalk, cowries dangling from his neck. "My daughter," he said without looking up, "you don't suffer." Tears filled Iridis' eyes. "Baba, I'm tired. I want to be rich. I want to live like those girls in movies. I don't care how. Just make it happen." The man stared into his calabash of water and nodded slowly. "You are ready." He disappeared into his hut and returned with a small black pouch. From it, he drew out 12 condoms, each one tied with a red thread. He handed them to her. "These are not ordinary," he said. "You must sleep with 12 wealthy men. Before you do, switch their condom with one of these. Their seed will activate your wealth. But know this, until you complete the 12, bring the used condoms to me, and I will make you as rich as you can ever imagine." and for each man you sleep with, there will be a consequence." Iridis' hands trembled as she took the pouch. What kind of consequence? The old man's eyes were sharp. "That's not your concern. You asked for wealth. This is the price." The journey began. She left Osantito and traveled to cities Ibaran, Lagos, Abuja. She reinvented herself, wore heavy makeup, borrowed wigs. Her body already attracted attention. And with a little charm, she got her first target, a local government chairman in Ibaran. After they were done, she switched the condom like Baba said. 3 days later, the man collapsed during a speech and started barking like a dog in the hospital. People called it madness. Iridi was shaken, but she remembered what the Babalawo said. Don't look back. The second was a hotel owner in Lagos. After their night, he lost all his money to a crypto scam the next week. The third man developed a strange skin disease no doctor could explain. With each man she conquered, something odd would happen to them. Madness, poverty, sickness, but she grew bolder. She started wearing finer clothes, sleeping in hotels, posting carefully cropped selfies online. People in Osantito started gossiping. See Iredio, the girl Dande Chanjo. Still, nothing was permanent. The wealth hadn't come yet. Her money would come in small bursts, but disappear quickly. The Babalawo's words haunted her. You must complete all 12. By the time she reached the sixth man, a married politician with ties to secret cults, she began to feel things change inside her. At night, she'd hear voices whispering her name. She started dreaming of fire, snakes, and faceless women dancing under the moonlight. Her eyes turned red sometimes when she looked into mirrors, but the urge to finish her mission pushed her forward, even if it meant losing what little soul she had left. By the time Iride got to the 11th man, she was no longer the girl who used to roast corn by the roadside. She had transformed. Her skin glowed unnaturally bright. Her hips moved like a spell when she walked. Men no longer ignored her. They worshipped her. Her Instagram was now full of designer shoes, foreign trips, but beneath it all, a growing darkness ate at her spirit. She had stopped calling herself Iredi. Now, she was Ria Blaze, a name that trended on TikTok for weeks after she allegedly slapped a club manager for refusing her a private table. Some called her a boss chick. Others said she was a runs girl with heavy jazz. Either way, she didn't care. She was on a mission. One more man and her life would change forever. But something had changed. After the 10th man, she started seeing shadows even in daylight. At first, she thought it was exhaustion, but the visions got stronger. She'd walk into her hotel room and see all 11 men standing silently at the corner. Eyes pale, faces empty, some of them drooling, others bleeding from their noses. One even spoke to her in a dream. You took everything. Now we wait. She went back to Baba Egi, trembling. I'm scared. These men, they haunt me. I see them. I hear them. They want something. The old man was seated beside a burning pot, grinding herbs with red pepper. He didn't look up. They don't want anything, he said. They are the price. You think power comes free? Finish what you started. The 12th will bring your wealth, or your end. Iridi left with tears in her eyes. Weeks passed. She became more selective. She wanted a man so rich, so powerful, that her transformation would be final. She finally found him, Chief Clement Okonkwo, owner of 5 petrol stations, 2 shopping malls, and 1 airline. The man was powerful, politically connected, feared, and yet his weakness was women. They met at a private party in Lekki. She had worn a red dress slit so high it caused a scene the moment she walked in. Clement noticed her within minutes. "Your beauty day confused me," he said with a grin. "You be real, babe." She smiled knowingly. "Maybe I am." That night, they ended up in a presidential suite at a five-star hotel in Victoria Island. He poured her champagne. She slipped something into his drink, just enough to make him feel drowsy, compliant. Then, like she had done 11 times before, she carefully switched the condom with the one from Baba Agi's pouch. The moment it was done, she felt it. A cold wind rushed into the room even though the windows were shut. The curtains blew. The lights flickered. And Clement lay still. She jumped off the bed, panic rushing through her. "Chief," she said, tapping his arm. No response. She reached for her clothes, grabbed her bag, and ran. When she got outside, the street was silent. Unnaturally silent. Even the air felt heavy. She went back to the village to meet Baba Agi with the 12 used condoms. When she handed it over to the Babalawo, he asked her to go back home. "Your wealth awaits you." That night, in her apartment in Banana Island, everything changed. She woke up to gold, literal gold bars on her table, bags of money. She received an IDU alert of millions of money in her account. Her closet was full of designer outfits she had never bought. There was a new Range Rover downstairs with her name on the plate. She screamed. She laughed. She jumped. It had worked. She had finally arrived. But even in her celebration, she didn't see the 12 shadows standing at the corner of her room, watching in silence. All the men she had used, their bodies bent, their eyes white, their faces frozen in pain. She poured wine and danced anyway, until her reflection in the mirror refused to move with her. For weeks, Iridis lived like royalty. She became a Lagos legend overnight. Everyone wanted to be like her. Instagram was flooded with girls asking what skincare routine she used, what her soft life secret was. She bought a house in Banana Island, signed an endorsement deal with a luxury perfume brand in Dubai, and began rolling with Nollywood stars and politicians. Her face, once the subject of village jokes, was now covered in makeup, filters, and confidence. But at night, the truth would slip through the cracks. She'd wake up screaming, cold, covered in sweat. Sometimes her face would look different in the mirror, longer, older, scarred. Sometimes she'd hear voices whispering from her wardrobe, calling her name in 12 different tones. And whenever she closed her eyes, she'd see the men, the 12 victims, standing in a circle, slowly closing in on her, each one more decayed than the last. She stopped sleeping. She stopped eating. Then it got worse. One morning, as she tried to step out for a photo shoot, her legs gave way. She fell hard against her marble floor. When she looked down, her feet were swelling, turning black. Her tongue became heavy. The doctor said it was a rare disease, neurological, he claimed, possibly spiritual. She knew it wasn't medical. She called Baba Agui again. This time, he didn't answer. So, she traveled to Osentido herself. When she reached Baba's shrine, she found the place abandoned. The hut had been burned down. The place smelled of death. An old woman sitting by the stream nearby looked at her and hissed. "You think say Baba go help you again? Baba is dead. You don't use blood build mansion. Now your debtor's day collect." I really broke down. I was desperate. I was tired of suffering. What was I supposed to do? The woman shook her head. You traded your soul for soft life. Power stolen from others always returns for payment. That night, I really dreamt again. But this time, the 12 men stood in a circle around her, and she stood in the middle. They didn't move. They just stared. And then they began to chant. You took our strength. You took our minds. You took our gold. Now give us yours. She screamed, but no sound came. When she woke up, she was blind. Everything she had, cars, gold. Alerts vanished within days. Her accounts were wiped clean. Her body decayed rapidly. Doctors had no explanation. Her face became unrecognizable. No amount of makeup could hide it. Within weeks, the headlines changed from Rhea Blaze stuns in Dubai again to ex-socialite iridis on the streets after mysterious illness. People mocked her. Some said it was drugs. Others said it was a failed surgery. But a few who knew whispered, she used juju. It has expired. She ended up sitting on the same roadside where she once sold corn. Her beauty gone, her body broken, her eyes gray and lifeless. People passed her without knowing she was once the girl who made rich men go mad. And the worst part? She could still hear them. 12 shadows, laughing in the wind. Moral lesson. Desperation can drive us to dark places. But shortcuts to wealth often carry invisible chains. When you take what you haven't earned, it will eventually take what you cannot afford to lose. True transformation begins with patience, not blood money. The road may be slow, but it is safe. Let those who have ears hear. The end.